Now, I know this might ruffle a few feathers. Welcome back to part 2 in my series on the 5 elements that make the biggest impact on your piano progress. If you missed out on part 1, the 2 biggest factors in your journey of learning the piano, click the link right here on the screen to check that video out first and then come back to watch this one. Hi, I'm Megan and I'm a piano teacher, and on my channel I share tips, tricks, and tutorials every single week. In this video, we're going to be discussing 3 more elements that, while not as impactful as the first 2, have an enormous effect on your progress at the piano and are particularly relevant if you have more ambitious goals as a pianist. If you want to play piano just for enjoyment, or are okay with a slower rate of progress, or are not really interested in playing advanced classical music, maximizing the first 2 elements on this list should be more than enough for you. But if you want to accelerate your progress at the piano, possibly pursue music in some kind of professional capacity, or tackle the most advanced classical repertoire, you are going to need to maximize all 5 elements on this list. So let's dive into numbers 3 through 5, and oh boy, are we starting with a doozy. Element number 3 is your natural musical aptitude. Now, I know this might ruffle a few feathers. In some teaching spaces, it has become very unpopular to discuss musical aptitude or talent, or even acknowledge that it exists. I think this is born out of a response to a very old school philosophy that only people who are musically talented should even bother learning to play an instrument, and teachers were encouraged and allowed to dismiss students they deemed as untalented. This is, in fact, the complete opposite of what I advocate for and why I think it's important to acknowledge this element. In my philosophy, musical aptitude has 2 parts: innate giftedness and early musical influence. Early musical influences would consist of your family, household culture, and early activities and experiences. Imagine 2 beginners. One who grew up in a house full of professional musicians discussing and playing music regularly, lots of extended family involved in music, and music-filled activities from a young age. Even without any formal training, this individual is going to have a distinct advantage over another beginner who grew up in a less music-filled household. When it comes to innate giftedness, my theory is that this tends to fall on a normal curve. Now, forgive my nerd side for a minute. I've never been much of a math person, but I genuinely enjoyed the statistics classes that I had to take in grad school. Statistics. I genuinely enjoyed the statistics classes that I had to take in grad school. The normal curve is a statistical figure which shows this bell-like shape, where most people tend to fall near the middle of a particular data set. Things like IQ, height, even blood pressure, and overall job satisfaction tend to fall on a normal curve, with the percentage of outliers decreasing as they reach the extreme ends of the spectrum. If we place musical aptitude on a normal curve, on one extreme we find the true prodigies, the Mozarts of the world. And on the other end of the spectrum, we might find people who experience amusia, the medical condition otherwise known as tone deafness. As we move closer to the middle, we find people who find music a little bit easier, are naturally drawn to musical activities. And on the other side, people who find music a little bit more difficult and are maybe less drawn to musical activities. And then a vast majority of people fall right in the middle with what we would consider average musical aptitude. Now here's the key. Outside of the very furthest extremes, your natural musical aptitude does not dictate whether you can or should pursue music, especially as a hobby or an outlet. It can and probably will affect how quickly you will progress and how easy or difficult you may find certain things. Accepting that without any judgment or frustration is key, and committing to absolutely avoid comparison with others. If someone you know is making quicker progress than you, maybe they have more time on their hands, or maybe they have an advantage when it comes to natural musical aptitude, and that is okay. That should have no bearing whatsoever on your personal musical journey. Let me give you a personal example. My husband and I recently started playing tennis together. If I had to approximate where each of us falls on a normal curve, here's my husband, a little better than average. Things tend to come fairly easy to him. And then here's me, all the way over here. Making contact with the ball is a huge accomplishment. After the first couple of times we played, I started to feel this pressure, like maybe I should quit and stop playing. Even though I was having fun, it felt nice to spend time outside in the sun, sweat a little bit, and get my heart rate up and challenge myself. Every little win felt so amazing because it did not come naturally to me. So when I dug deeper into this pressure that I was feeling to give up, I realized that it was mainly rooted in shame and embarrassment. Like not being naturally good at tennis was some kind of moral failing or something that I did wrong. When I let go of that shame and embarrassment, I was able to get back to learning tennis and enjoying myself, enjoying all of the ups and downs. And I made a heck of a lot more progress by getting back out there, trying my best and having fun than I would have by just giving up and going home. I'm still not excellent at tennis, and I did have to stop because I sprained my ankle, but that's besides the point. Element number 4 is your materials and method book. Finding the right materials, apps, videos, and pieces is crucial to your piano progress. You should be looking for something at the right difficulty level, appropriate pacing, a learning style that works for you, and pieces you enjoy playing. When in doubt, I recommend a traditional beginner method. My favorite is Adult Piano Adventures by the Fabers. This book and others like it were created by teachers with decades of experience and informed by current research in piano pedagogy. While these books may not have the flash and pizzazz of some other materials, you can be sure you're not missing any essential skills and getting a well-rounded approach to music learning. There are definitely some great apps and websites out there as well, and in an upcoming video, I'm going to be going through some of my favorites to help supplement your method book of choice. This element is also where the quality of your instrument is going to come into play. I recommend a piano or keyboard with all 88 keys and some level of weighted keys, plus pedals and a proper stand and bench. In my preschool music classroom, I have one that I got on sale from Amazon for about $250 that I think could take somebody from a beginner all the way up to a fairly advanced level. You can definitely get started with something that doesn't meet those exact specifications, but the closer you can get to those criteria, the easier it will be to transition to a higher quality instrument later on. The final element is what I'm going to call your learning community. And this can consist of a teacher or teachers, your friends and family, or other people in your circle that you can go to for questions and support. This is bottom on the list because even if you don't have a teacher, even if you don't have any friends who are interested in music and you can ask questions to, even if your family is always telling you to be quiet when you're trying to practice piano, this does not have to limit your potential at the piano. Especially because of all of the amazing resources online, it is easier than ever to forge your own path and maybe find your own musical community along the way. Of course, having a great teacher, somebody to answer your questions, and supportive friends and family can accelerate your progress, but are by no means necessary to learn tons of amazing music and have fun at the piano. Now, if you have advanced classical or professional aspirations, you are going to need a teacher or mentor at some point on your journey. Every great pianist from every genre, even those who were self-taught, had guidance from other pianists and musicians. A teacher can help you to hear things your ears are not advanced enough to hear yet, help you avoid and fix technical problems, and help you find the appropriate repertoire, resources, and connect you with a network of teachers and professionals who can give you multiple perspectives, approaches, and opinions throughout your piano journey. At long last, we've come to the end of this list, and believe it or not, I feel like I left so many things out. I could easily have made multiple videos that were hours long each on this topic and still felt like I barely scratched the surface.
Let me know in the comments if any of these elements surprised you, if there's one you especially want to focus on to advance your own playing, and as always, let me know what pieces you're working on this week. Thanks for watching and happy practicing.
Websites out there as well.